The third step of the forehand is the forward swing to contact. Having gotten my tennis racket all the way behind me and my other arm extended out across my body, from this position, I'm ready to swing forward to my contact point. But before we talk about exactly how that's done, I want to mention a very important point. Look at my feet right now. They're in the same position they were in when I pivoted and turned my shoulders. And from this body position here, I could swing forward and hit the tennis ball. But I could also step into the court with my inside foot like I'm doing here just before I hit. And whether or not you take that step just depends on the situation. Every pro on tour is going to hit both ways over the course of a match. And I wanted to make that point because you're going to see some pros later on in this section not taking that step, so I didn't want y'all to be confused. That step is not a fundamental of the forehand, but in my opinion, it's easier to learn the shot. It's easier to put your forehand together if you take this step into the court right before you hit. Let's get back to how exactly you get to your contact point. From this position here, I have to do three things to get to contact. First, I have to push off my outside leg, my left leg in this case since I'm a lefty, and when I do that, I get my heel up, and that's going to help with the second step, which is to rotate my upper body back towards the net. Now when I do that, I'm going to drop the tennis racket down and then swing forward to my contact point. And if we play that again, the path my racket travels along looks very similar to as if I was tracing a C out with the tennis racket. If I do these three things at the same time, I'll get to my contact point, which is a little bit out in front of my body and about waist high. From the front, we can see what that looks like. Again, I push off my outside left leg, my heel comes up, my upper body rotates back towards the net, and the racket drops down and then swings forward to my contact point, again about waist high and a little bit out in front of my body. And if I were to make contact with the tennis ball, my strings would be flat on the back of the ball. Having gotten his tennis racket all the way back and his other arm extended out across his body, now Frank's going to do those three things I just talked about to get to his contact point. He pushes off his back foot, his outside foot, which is his right foot since he's a righty. He rotates his upper body back towards the net, and again, getting his heel up is going to help him rotate back around. And then if we rewind it, his racket drops down. Adam will put that C in there. The racket drops down and swings forward to his contact point, which ends up being out in front of his body and about waist high. From the front view, we can see what it looks like from this angle. Again, he pushes off the back foot, outside foot, rotates the upper body back towards the net, and the racket comes down and swings forward, and he hits the tennis ball a little bit out in front of his body and around waist high. Let's go back to Marat Safin and look at a couple pictures of him swinging forward to his contact point. In this first shot here, his tennis racket's all the way back, other arms extended out across his body. But now in this next shot, he's in the process of swinging forward. This is, of course, from the side. And if we move in on his feet, he's pushing off his outside foot. He's rotating his upper body back towards the net. And if we pull back a little bit, the racket has come down and is now swinging forward towards the tennis ball, which is right about here. In this final shot, this is again from the front, Safin's at contact, and he's fully pushed off his outside leg. He's actually in the air. His upper body is fully rotated back towards the net, and he's swung forward, and now he's at contact a little bit out in front of his body.